Today I wish to celebrate Jack Dangers, a musician who has had a profound effect on my life, who was the engine room, I would say, behind Meat Beat Manifesto, an absolutely outstanding electronic music act whose work has, I think, had a profound impact on the development of electronic music, but maybe more behind the scenes, not so widely recognised, and yet I can hear the imprint of his work on so many other later pieces. He was someone who was, as I understand it, self-taught, because of course nobody was teaching anyone how to use electronic instruments. He was one of those first people to grab hold of a sampler and really see what he could get out of it, often sampling things from old films that obviously wouldn't have any copyright issues, and therefore, but also provided this enormous landscape of interesting sound sources that would stimulate the imagination and could somehow tell a story as you kind of placed all of these different snippets together, composing something else from them. He's an absolutely enthralling live performer. I remember once watching the band. So they're an electronic band, but they always had a live drummer. They had bass and guitar being played live on stage, more guitar than bass. And Jack Dangers would be at the front of the stage, like ranting into the microphone. Brilliant raps, beautifully written, not necessarily that kind of poetic rap that, rather than telling a specific story, is kind of alluding to many things by just bringing different phrases together. And I remember watching him, triggering samples off an octopad while singing into the microphone, tapes pouring out of a mellotron, this amazing instrument that would work on old cassette tapes, and having to rip tapes out and replace reels so that he could keep the performance going. And they were pounding, like such a powerful experience to see live. They were, I'll never forget them. I so wish I could go and see Meat Beat Manifesto in that way today. Of course, like watching a lot of bands 30 years on, it wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't really choose to go and see the Rolling Stones 30 years after they were at their peak, or in the case of the Rolling Stones, 50 years or 60 years even. But still, the memory of Meat Beat Manifesto remains with me very profoundly, those live concerts that I saw, and many of them. But their music still stays with me today. There's so many pieces that still sound absolutely fantastic. And I see that as a real mark of music, when you can still be listening to it 10 or 20 years later and it doesn't sound like it's dated, where the sound quality is still, rather than having this plastic quality of something which is fashionable, which quickly goes out of fashion, their stuff still sounds deep and resonant and rich and beautiful. A bit like the Aphex Twin, whereas lots of their contemporaries that were making electronic music, you listen back to those pieces and it's like, it just feels kind of tired and not working. Their stuff still sounds absolutely amazing. So today I'm celebrating Jack Dangers.